Today's webinar, we're going to be talking about elevating the business, so unpacking the power of privacy certifications. And we're looking forward to the discussion. So thanks for being here with us.
On today's agenda, we want to talk about privacy certifications and businesses and organizations' path to becoming more compliant with today's privacy. So today we want to cover privacy certification, an overview of our assurance programs, certification process, and we will dive deeper into two of our most popular certification, Responsible AI and Global CBPR or APAC. And then after that, we will go to Q&A.
So like Priya said, in several conversations with clients, you're already aware of the problems that we hear from clients about privacy. So in today's privacy landscape, organizations often face significant challenges. Some of the ones that stand out are around increasing customer and stakeholder expectations. They're higher than ever, and people expect transparency, security, more control over their data. Because of all of this, there are new laws that are emerging as well that require dedicated resources to ensure compliance and adherence. And especially because of the growing volume of data, there's more risk and more data to be managed and more data risks to be mitigated. So managing all of that has also become increasingly complex. And these are the broad range of problems that we increasingly hear from our clients. So juggling the regulatory environment is actually a big problem. And this highlights the importance of scalable solutions that are actually required for compliance.
Great overview. And here, just to resolve the issues, we want to talk about assurance services that we provide. So privacy certifications are formal attestations issued by independent bodies or organizations that verify a company's adherence to specific privacy frameworks and regulatory requirements. These certifications basically demonstrate that the organization has implemented the necessary safeguards and mechanisms to protect personal data and personal information. Here, we want to basically talk about the key or the functionality of these privacy certifications. And there are many, but I would like to emphasize on a few. So for them to demonstrate that there is a compliance, certifications basically prove that a company is meeting the privacy requirements set by frameworks such as APAC or Responsible AI and many others. So this can help companies avoid fines and penalties by providing evidence of their commitment to compliance. And reducing risk is also another functionality of these certifications. So by obtaining these certifications, organizations reduce the risk of data breaches and non-compliance and subsequent penalties. This certification can also act as a safeguard in an international data transfer, such as those between regions that comply with APAC CBPR. And one other important point is also building trust. Privacy certification build the trust with customers. If the organization is not customer facing, having that reputation would allow organization to build that trust with different stakeholders. And when an organization can display a recognized privacy certification, it signals a commitment to data protection and privacy best practices. And as you can see in the screen, we have three more, but I would like to also go over the cross-border transfer mechanism and focus on the fact that certifications like APAC CBPR provide a legal mechanism for transferring data across borders in a compliant way. This is especially important for multinational companies dealing with data transfer between regions. And then I would like to, on the next slide, draw your attention to our TrustArc assurance suites that we offer. So in TrustArc, we offer a comprehensive global assurance solution that designed to help our organization to simplify a compliance with a complex international privacy framework. So by achieving these certifications, companies not only reduce their risk of non-compliance, but also they demonstrate a commitment to protecting privacy. And our certification provides an independent validation that your organization privacy practices align with the leading global standards and meeting the regulatory expectations across multiple jurisdictions. Um, for example, in the world, we have so many different frameworks, so many different regulations that sometimes it could be overwhelming. Um, but by categorizing all this and providing a specific set of certification for each, we would be able to help business and organization to succeed. One of the certification that validation that I would like to draw your attention is the GDPR validation. The GDPR validation basically confirms the adherence to the EU General Data Protection Regulation, and it helps to recognize as the certification helps to ensure that our organization's data handling and processing meets the GDPR comprehensive standards for transferring data and respecting individual rights. Again, in the region, in the world, there are so many validations and certifications, but again, GDPR is one of the ones that we can have an honorable mention, as well as APAC CBPR. And yeah, we have CCPA validation that could also enhance the compliance work.
Okay, so I can probably take you over the steps that you will likely encounter if you go ahead with any of these certifications that Peria just explained. So what you have in front of us are the 5 buckets that we can divide the steps in. So number 1 is discovery. So this is actually the stage where you encounter the questionnaire and we ask you a series of questions regarding the requirements that are related to the certification. The basic principles that certifications commonly look at are actually common ones like transparency, security, accountability, and then there are requirements of each of these principles. And then the questionnaire actually asks you about those specific requirements. And step 1 is when you will provide us with more information about those questions. So after we've gathered some information and the discovery is complete is when step 2 begins, which is a gap analysis. So this is when we've received all of the responses and we begin reviewing the responses and any policies that you can provide to support the responses. And then we review everything against the requirements of the framework to come up with a findings report. And we also assess them for gaps. So that's essentially the second step. Step 3 is remediating insights, which means that after we've communicated the potential gap areas to you, when you begin working on remediating those gaps. So that's essentially step 3. So in this stage also we provide extensive support, which means that it's an iterative process. There'll be back and forth. So you can ask us any questions regarding the gaps. We also have some operational templates that we provide in case you need some more support in closing out those gap areas. So that's step 3. Step 4 is, well, it's just that at the end of all of this, after you've remediated all of the gaps and everything is complete, you will have an accessible audit trail in Privacy Central, which is the platform where the entire assessment takes place. So the accessible audit trail will live over there. And step 5 is certification, which is voila, after we've certified you, you'll have a letter of attestation, a trustee seal for public posting in certain cases, and the final report. You will also get listed in the compliance directory in case, yeah, so you'll also get listed in the compliance directory. During the entirety of the project lifecycle, an experienced member of our assurance team will also work with you. They will assess the practices, they will assess your responses, like I just explained, and they will also help you in closing the gaps. They will provide the gap analysis and guide you on the requirements that you still need to meet. They'll provide the findings and what you need to do to meet those requirements. Okay, now we're going to deep dive into some of the certifications that we provided you with an overview of. So the first one is our newest offering, which is the Responsible AI certification. So what you see on the screen here are all of the principles that are actually ingrained in the framework. But I'm not going to go deeper into each of them. They're pretty self-explanatory. So things like fairness, things like explainability, accountability. But more broadly, we've created all of these program requirements, and they incorporate different laws and requirements. So things like GDPR, the NIST AI risk management framework, the ISO requirements, and then the EU AI Act, OECD principles. So we have actually derived from all of these frameworks, and the focus is to make sure that everything works together smoothly across jurisdictions. And a big part of this is also assessing AI governance readiness, which you can do with the Responsible AI certification. So your company can see what are the program requirements, and then see where you stand with respect to those requirements. In case you already have a framework, you can, of course, assess and evolve it further. In case you don't, then you can use these program requirements as a guide for building out your framework further. Yep. So the roadmap, so this actually provides you with some more use cases of and the benefits of the Responsible AI certification, that you can use it to understand the areas of improvement. You can use it to develop the AI governance framework further. We also have some tools and documents in place, and you can actually figure out which are the tools and documents that you already have in place and sort of build out from there. So for example, if you have a data inventorying piece or a policy regarding that, or data protection impact assessment. So when you go over the questionnaire, the program requirements will provide you with more details on how to identify those requirements and see which ones you fulfill and operationalize these tools. And for some others where you might need some additional policies, we do have operational templates. At the end of it, you'll of course have you'll be able to demonstrate that you're Responsible AI certified, and you can use it for external, for external stakeholders, internal stakeholders, that you're validated by a third party. Okay, I'll turn it over to Peria to talk more about the other certification, which is the Global CBPR PRP.
Thank you, Riti. So I would like to talk about the Global CBPR PRP. So the Global Cross-Border Privacy Rules, or CBPR, and Privacy Recognition for Processors, PRP, are internationally recognized frameworks developed to facilitate the secure transfer of personal data across borders with participating economies. And as you can see on this slide, there are many participating members that being added. However, we have just recently UK joining us as well, Canada, Japan, United States. These economies have been with APAC for a while now, but there are new economies, participant economies being added as well. So with these economies embracing CBPR and PRP, organizations gain access to a broader network for trusted data transfers and a streamlined compliance. So I would like to talk a little bit more about the functionality and key advantage of Global CBPR and PRP. And one of the one of the advantage that is highlighted here on this slide is also universal compliance. So with just one certifications, organizations can meet global privacy standards and reducing need for multiple certifications through saving times and costs. And this streamlined approach allows businesses to comply with global privacy standards more efficiently and achieving more with less effort. Another highlighted advantage is a competitive business advantage. So global CBPR and PRP certification helps businesses to expand into a new market and engage in data transfer globally across participating economies that we have on this slide as well. And this reduces the need for a repetitive legal approval and assessment and providing a significant competitive edge in today's digital economy, basically. And TrustArc is an accountability agent. So TrustArc through TrustE was the first US accountability agent, pioneering certifications under APAC system, I believe since 2013. So this history underscored our leadership in global data privacy and cross-border compliance solution. And we did talk about the participating members, but I would like to highlight again that this list is basically expanding as we are moving to global CBPR. And again, we are expecting many countries and participating economies to join. So with that, I would like to open the floor for any questions if you have. So I would like to first of all thank everyone for joining us today, and I really hope that this session gave a valuable insight into privacy certifications available at TrustArc. But now we want to hear from you, so I would love to open the floor to any questions you might have, whether it's specific about certifications or any implementation questions or any other privacy topics. Please include that in the chat.
Paria, we did get a question earlier from a client in advance of the webinar. So it was actually about the benefits of interoperability. They wanted to know the benefits of interoperability that our certifications offer. And I can speak to that a bit, and maybe you can add in more points if you wish. But essentially, the benefits of interoperability are, of course, that one, there's global adaptability. So the certifications, they will support compliance across different jurisdictions, which is very helpful for multinational corporations. Of course, there's more trust. Like we said, one of the big problems that organizations face is regarding trust, both internal and external. So having that independent third-party audit in place will signal the commitment to data privacy and increase trust both internally with stakeholders, investors, and externally with clients. The other great thing is, of course, the competitive edge that it can offer your business, that it can differentiate your company with the other companies in the market and show your proactive approach to privacy. Anything that you would want to add, Peria?
Yeah, I think you raise a very great point. And again, just to highlight, when it comes to global CBPR and PRP, interoperability allows companies to streamline compliance, basically, and that allows a lot of exposure for organizations to being able to transfer the data easily, whether or not that's like a contractual obligation that they're trying to meet, or again, for building trust. But for instance, instead of having to comply with a unique and potentially conflicting privacy requirements in each country's organizations that are certified under global CBPR, where we can leverage this cross compatibility to meet the core privacy expectations. And again, that would help in so many different ways by reducing compliance over consistencies across the border, and again, building that trust. Thanks for the questions. Well, thank you everyone for joining again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining.